Tonight on Cosmic Cantina, is there a connection between hallucinations, psychosis, and hauntings? Are all psychotic disorders due to a broken mind? Or could there be something more paranormal going on for some people? Many people have reported seeing something paranormal, but can we trust our own eyes? Cover up all those mirrors in your house, because we're coming in. I'm your host, Melissa Tittle, and every week I go to my favorite bar, Cosmic Cantina, and kick back with my co-hosts, Josh Golombeski and Matt O'Connor. We talk about aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, ancient cultures, and anything from the unseen world that needs a little illumination. Welcome to Cosmic Cantina. I'm your host, Melissa Tittle, and tonight, what are you guys drinking?
Well, I've done it, folks. I found my favorite gluten-free IPA beer, and I couldn't be more excited. It was sitting on the shelf for months just staring at me, looking at me. It was just cheaper. So, there was something in my brain that was like, I can't spend $10 on a gluten-free beer. That's not going to, taste any good. But then I finally decided to do it. I said, fuck it. You know what? I'm going for it. I've had every other goddamn one in here. I need this one. So I grabbed it. I walked home. I drank it. It is by far the best gluten-free beer I've ever had. I'm not joking. It's called Ghost Fish is the company. They're in Seattle, Washington. I'm coming for you, Ghost Fish. And they also, and this one is a grapefruit IPA, and it's really good. I'm overly excited about it. Matt, what are you drinking?
All right. Holy shit.
God, I don't know if you can follow up after that.
Yeah, I can't follow up with that. But I got a local cider from Snowcap Cider in Colorado here, and it's called Gold Rush. And man, it is. Oh god, it's sweet and it's cold.
Nice.
Oh.
Ooh.
And, you okay?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
It's delicious.
Just checking on you.
I really wanted a visceral experience for people at home.
I know.
Taking that in. But anyway, what do you got, Melissa?
I'm actually drinking Bloody Marys.
What?
Because it's Sunday. What?
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. But do you guys remember that game that we used to play when we were kids where you close your eyes and you're in the dark and somebody spins you around in the bathroom and you say, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, I don't know how many times. And then you're supposed to look into the mirror, and if you see, a girl, covered in blood, you're like, oh, my God, it's Bloody Mary. Do you remember playing that game?
I do. I'm an American, though.
It.
Yeah, see, Matt's from Australia. He did not get that at all, but I did. Yeah. Did you, though? You just trying to sound cool?
I mean, yeah, I heard about it. It just, not something, that just sounds like a fuck that. I'm not playing that game.
Dude, that was huge when I was a kid. That was the thing we all did. I remember that, yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Did you do Ouija boards and stuff, too?
Of course.
Did you? Yeah.
We got into
that was another one of those fuck that things.
But Bloody Mary is crazy. I mean, Josh, did you ever see anything in the mirror?
No, I never saw a damn thing.
I did.
Not once.
It was scary. Yeah, I saw Bloody Mary in the mirror. But maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. And that is the theme of this week's podcast.
Well done.
Okay.
You ready? God, that transition was so awesome. I just need a clap.
Man, you should produce things.
I should. Oh my God, what a great idea. Okay. So there is a online magazine called Independent. And the title is Gargoyles, Tarantulas, Bloodied Children. Research begins into a mysterious syndrome where people see visions of horror. I think we can all say we've seen the movie where people see dead people. But this is sort of the same thing. So an estimated 1 million visually impaired people in UK are thought to experience bizarre ultra-lifelike hallucinations, including spiders crawling from books and Victorian families appearing in crowds, and, yes, bloody children, gargoyles, the whole thing. This is actually called Charles Bonnet syndrome. It was first identified in 1760 by the Swiss naturalist and philosopher whose grandfather, a sane, but as he puts it, a sane and coherent man, confided in his grandson that he started seeing birds out of nowhere that he knew could not possibly be in the room. So, currently, 1 million people just in the UK, because this is where the study is happening, are visually impaired but see scary images. Of course, we're talking about this guy who sees birds, but most of them are hallucinations.
just check about that for a second. UK is 66 million people. So 1 out of every 66 people is seeing crazy shit out there. That's a pandemic on its own.
And they visually and they can't technically see. That's right. You know, they're not.
Yeah, I was looking it up. Yeah, it happens as you're losing your sight. It happens a lot to older people, but as your sight's deteriorating, it happens to you. And sometimes it starts nice, and then it gets dark. At first, it's unicorns and like fairies, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, the creepy girls with long dark hair stepping out of a TV and coming at you and trying to bite you.
Ugh. Ugh. So it's super weird, right? All right. So a few more things. Despite estimates that half of all visually impaired people in the UK suffer, this figure is put forward by the King's College of London neuroscience, Dr. Dominic Effridge. Most have never heard of this until they were diagnosed, because most people don't want to talk about it because they don't want people to think that they're insane. But now this is, in the last 4 years, this has become a routine where they ask people as they're losing their vision, have you seen anything crazy? Because it's becoming a huge study. For instance, they interviewed a guy who actually saw the scary woman from The Ring. His name is Dr. Amit Patel. He remembers, this is what it says, the first time Dr. Amit Patel saw the girl in his home, he was so astonished he fell down the stairs. She was so vivid, he remembers. I could see the detail on her dress. There was blood smeared on her face. Just a month earlier of him seeing this dead girl, quote unquote, in November 2012, he lost his sight. So all of a sudden he can't really see, but now he's seen this dead girl who follows him around everywhere. White dress, black hair, bloodied, bruised, and then she disappears wherever. She's in the car, she's with his kids, she's in the room, she's in the hallway. It doesn't matter. She follows him around. Isn't that fucking creepy?
That's super weird. Man. You know what I think? And obviously we were going to take it down this road, but are they hallucinations? Because that whole fact, the part of this where they say, I didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. That to me screams like maybe you're actually seeing some shit though that people just, you know, you're seeing beyond the veil. Because I think people who are legit crazy don't care if anyone thinks they're crazy. They're just like in their own world kind of thing. But this kind of feels like especially things that are following you around. I found when I was researching this topic as well, I found a few different stories related to that. Of just things following you. It's like an attachment kind of thing, but you can see it. So, I don't know.
Matt, do you think that, there is studies done where people lose their hearing and their sight becomes stronger, or people lose their taste and their hearing. You know what I mean? Like once you lose one of your senses, the other ones become stronger. Do you think that it's almost, I mean, I hate to bring up the movie, but do you almost, because they're losing their physical sight, they're able to have a sixth sense is actually picking up something that's always been there, following this guy, and now he can actually see it?
That's interesting. Because what I started looking into, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but I started looking into people who are actually living with psychosis and schizophrenia and stuff. And the vast majority of people I was reading about their stories all had instances of abuse when they were children. And it started getting me thinking about MK Ultra, where you could, create different, facets in the mind by using trauma. But it took me down the path of is it when we hear of people getting attached with these negative entities and stuff, it's always during a point where they're either abusing drugs or alcohol, or there's a point in time where their consciousness basically steps out from the body for a little bit. And a lot of these people who were talking about their abuse that they suffered, they said the abuse was so bad that I learned to go somewhere else. It was one of the wording. A couple of the people talked about that was the wording of I went somewhere else consciously while my body was, having horrible things done to it. Very dark stuff.
Well, It's going to tie into my story later. It's all connected. Very interesting.
Yeah, like.
So do you think that's actually the reality that they stepped into was real because they forced themselves, or was it fake? Like, what's your opinion?
I feel like it allowed them to. It's sort of like it broadened their consciousness almost. They were able to step somewhere else, and because their consciousness went somewhere else during this abuse or whatever happened. Now they've had a taste of it, and they can kind of see that other side. Look, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But you play one on TV.
I do.
Dude, we're in a bar.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look at it for you.
You're a fucking doctor, Matt. We're at a bar.
Dr.
Yeah,
O'Connor.
this is where we sling theories, man. Bring it. Keep going.
But hey, so theories. That's my theory, is that I think that it allows them... some people are just crazy too, but I think it just allows some people to taste of the void, and it kind of gives them this kind of little insight all of a sudden into other dimensions, maybe. I don't know.
But these people, they didn't go. They're not. Nothing's bad has happened to them except they're losing their sight. Correct? For the study.
Yeah,
that we're
these
talking
people.
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a lot of things too. Is that necessarily like the only thing in that article that they state? They're just losing their sight, so that it's like their neurons are firing and they're starting to see crazy shit.
Yes, that's what they say, but they haven't ruled out that it could be something else. They're leaving it very vague in the article, but I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe Josh, what do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting that as you lose your physical sight, in some way you're gaining some sort of other sight. And maybe that does have something to do with your senses getting stronger, and the combination of like losing your vision and not relying on it as much, and somehow being open in other ways leads you to see more things. I mean, I'm trying hard to find a paranormal angle. It could just be like a thing that happens to millions of people. I mean, just think about that. Like, just say this is just one of those things that is just a normal disorder. There's nothing attached to it at all. Like, it is the source of so many horror stories and over the years, over hundreds of years. If this was going on in human history where people are going blind and seeing crazy shit, that could be the source of like so many ghost stories, so many different paranormal events. I mean, not shared paranormal events when multiple people experience something together, which I'll get to in a little bit. I found a crazy story. But I find that really fascinating because they see horror things. And they're also seeing horror things that are kind of related to their time or not, in a sense that, like, like this one guy saw the girl from The Ring. That's what he saw. Obviously, that movie scared him. He started seeing her. But you always see every other horror movie is like a black-haired Japanese girl, like, covered in blood. Like, of course, you're going to see that if your mind's tripping out and like, what is scary? What is scary? They'll see like a Victorian family that is from the past. Like, why are you seeing a Victorian family? That's just something you'd see in a movie. That it seems like everything they're seeing is related to our current time and what we think is scary. And you wonder if in the past they were doing that too. I'd love to see if there was any way to research this in the past, but I don't think there's any way to do that. So,
that's interesting. So it's like, you know, when we talk about like entities, kind of the ability for negative entities to kind of take on any sort of form that they want in order to, you know, frighten you and scare you and feed off that energy. We've talked about that a whole bunch. Obviously.
Yeah, Well, that's what I got coming for you next, O'Connor.
Oh shit, I'm on board. But
I'm gonna
Doctor, that's Dr. O'Connor to you. Josh.
Dr. O'Connor. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Yeah. Ladies. Don't say that. Anyway. So
we're leaving that in. Okay.
It also got me thinking about, like, you know, people who report after taking hallucinogens, LSD, even marijuana as well, like smoking pot and stuff. People report having... not while they're tripping balls, but they have like LSD flashbacks and that sort of stuff. I'm wondering if it's not just that the chemicals in your brain have been like mixed around and the connections have been sort of reset or whatever, but you're also your perception of how you sort of
exist,
how you perceive the world changes. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of results in some sort of ability to, like I said, see beyond the veil. It doesn't sound like anything that these people are seeing is physical. Like, no one's able to touch these things or whatever. It's all like visual hallucinations. But I wonder if it just gives you like that ability to change perception, and you can see to the other side.
But then it must
I don't
be
know, yeah.
real, meaning like